What's going on, guys? Welcome back to today's video. Thought I'd do a little bit of something different for the intro for once. Yeah, just came back from a spirited drive with my mates. Car's covered in a bit of fuel. She's a bit filthy, but essentially I thought I would do a video kind of detailing the 1M build itself and kind of start from the beginning, because I've had so many questions about this, and even though I've made quite a few videos for you guys, you have sort of asked me so much about the rear quarters, how all the 1M parts fit, what is genuine, what's not, how the carbon panels fit. So I just thought that I would do a video that's essentially the beginning of the 135i build and how I got it to where it's at. I know a few of you that are watching this video are probably already subscribed, but what has been built here is a 135i E82 N55 motor with the dual clutch. Buying a 1M is obviously something you can do to have something very similar to this, and I know the handling would be better, and there's parts about that car where it is essentially a better car. A 1M is an M car. There's only so many of them made, and they are very special. The 135i to me is a really good platform to build off and build from. Kind of got the idea to do such a build from a few other people and builds that I've seen on YouTube. I've seen some high horsepower 135i's such as Jake Spencer's, and I found that quite inspiring, especially the amount of power that you can get out of these cars. I went for the N55 motor though, which doesn't make as much power, but the dual clutch is what sold this particular model for me, and that's where everything stemmed from there. So I get people commenting on the build saying, why didn't you buy a 1M? And I guess it sort of came down to, I needed a daily at that point in time, so I went shopping for a 135i. I was inspired by a lot of builds on YouTube at the time, particularly the 1M converted 135i's. I personally really enjoy building cars. I like changing parts on them, upgrading parts. I even like parts breaking through abuse, just so you know what sort of can cop it and what can't. And it's a bit, that whole process of upgrading things to become better is something that I quite enjoy when it comes to modifying and building a car. The fact that this started as a 135i and it's become to what it is now, it's just made it very special to me. The fact that I've done so much to this vehicle, such as like the carbon hood, trunk, 1M, all genuine parts, which was a fun shopping experience for me as well, like trying to work out what parts I needed, the whole process, going through the forums, getting some information from friends. I've had a few mates that have done the same conversion too. And we've kind of formed a little group through it too, and we're a very close group of friends, and it's amazing how cars can make a connection between groups and people, and that's something else that I really enjoy about cars. The whole concept behind building a car, bringing people together, and just the whole Dark Knight theme that I have going, I just love how it just brings people together through the motorsport hobby and everything like that. Allows me to make content on YouTube, you guys enjoy watching it, stuff like that. The car remained as just a kind of pretty well standard 135i for a year and a half, and it was at that point that I decided to pull the pin on the conversion. When I did jump into it, I didn't realize the extent of how much it would cost. I didn't realize what I got myself in for, but then at that point I realized it wasn't time to back out of this. I was so devoted to the idea and the concept behind it that I just kept going with it. Cameron's Bodywork did the rear quarters. They molded them in and painted the car and realigned everything and just did all the kind of touch-ups. They did the side skirts. Those side skirts were actually different. They cut them in the rear end. They were kind of they came up really high and aggressive in the rear. It's just all these minor things that through mind syncing together and stuff that brought it to where it's at. Even the carbon fiber bonnet, like they kind of said to me, you spent the extra money to get a carbon fiber bonnet. I know it's weight saving, but why paint the entire thing and ruin the fact that it's got a carbon fiber finish? I was like, yeah, okay. So they sort of came to me with the idea of just painting up to these vents to make it look like it's got carbon vents. And they did an amazing job at actually outlining that to make it look like the vents are carbon when it's just painted up to that section. The whole car's just turned out really nicely, and it's not something that I think I could ever really get rid of considering how much has gone into it. I'm gonna jump in and tell you guys what parts, I can't really go through the whole entire parts list as it is quite extensive, but just the main parts required to do such a conversion. So I went to the extra mile to kind of get the carbon fiber bonnet with the aggressive bulge for the M3 styling. I got the carbon fiber trunk as well because I wanted the ducktail. Bit of weight saving as well, it just improved the look. But the front fenders, the front bumper, the rear bumper, and all the windscreen washer, plumbing, the reservoir, all that sort of stuff, the brackets for the headlights, which you need to mount the fenders to, and the front bumper, they're all genuine 1M parts, and they are required to do this conversion. You also need a new underbelly, like the pan, sort of that plastic piece that sits under the car. Everything's wider, beefier, more aggressive. All the inner guard linings on the front, everything off the 1M is required. As you can see, like, given this is so modified, the wheels like have been hitting the inside and putting holes in the guard lining. And I understand this is not a factory, this isn't a 1M, and it's not a factory car either. So you're gonna run into things that can't always be perfect on it. And that's what I guess modifying a car's about. It's always about like improving it, what you can do to like make it better, and just as long as I guess you enjoy the car. I could have left the mirrors as the standard 135i mirrors. That was a big thing for me given the 1M mirrors are so expensive. And then I figured, like, I've gone this far, I may as well complete it, and these mirrors really complete the look of the M sort of performance, well, I should say the M division. So I pulled the pin and decided to start shopping for some 1M mirrors, and these things came up secondhand. My chances, I couldn't believe it, because I mean, how often would you come across a 1M with mirrors that are being scrapped? Like, no, they're collectors' cars, people don't really drive them, and they care about them too much to, I guess, crash them. So yeah, that was a pretty good find for me. And then these 1M indicators, they're genuine, and the company actually painted them the outside so that they're standard. They're not usually painted, but I got them custom painted to match the fenders and stuff. And it's just all these little details that tie in together to make the car how it sits. The wheels, I was inspired by, he goes on Instagram by Wensbeck. He had a silver set of those on his 1M converted 135i. They looked insane, and when I saw that, I was like, oh man, I gotta get myself a set of those. So given the Dark Knight theme, I got them in black, and yeah, they sit perfectly. And they're wrapped in a Nankang AR1s, best tire I feel like I could run on this thing. They go insane, they grip. If you got a performance car and you're watching this video to kind of like learn more about them, and you're looking for improvements, look into a Nankang AR1 tire. It'll transform the driving experience completely. That's probably by far one of my best modifications, even though it's just a tire. I guess coming around the back of the car, I decided to upgrade the tail lights to the modern design, because I had the older ones with just like those bars that wrap around. Did a carbon fiber diffuser, and I did the quad tips at Rob Bliss. These things are awesome. Rob Bliss actually just kind of cut the exhaust at the rear axle and ran a separate pipe around the side, around the battery compartment, and then yeah, just put quad tips on, and it sounds awesome. I think the fact that it's gone to a dual exit made it sound better. And when people ask me how my car, like, why does my car sound the way it does, I personally believe it's the dual system. I think it's because it's a dual exit, it just changes the sound opposed to the single exit. And if you're really wanting to make a car sound good, I would recommend looking into a dual exit on the rear end. But there's so much more to this car that I've done. Like the mod list is quite extensive. Like there's the coilovers, there's all the engine upgrades, the bolt-ons that's now custom tuned on E40 on the stock turbo. I think it makes around 370 to 380 wheel horsepower. That's where the tuner, given the other cars, that's being tuned where it should sit. I drove it last night and it was 14 degrees Celsius, and man, it hooked. Like, it hooked hard. I gave a RS3 a run and I pulled on it, which I was pretty damn surprised about that. And these things go so well, even though I know people talk about the N55 being a weaker motor. The fact that it's got the dual clutch, the N55, which with the extra reliability, they say, makes it the perfect track car for me. And with the wider wheels, the wider body, the wider track width, I just think this platform is so fun for the racetrack, and it's car sort of bred to build as such. There's so many people in the States, I know a lot of you guys modify these, and quite a few of my subscribers are from America, I know that. So I decided to do a series for you guys on the build. This is the first video out of this series, just basically detailing why I chose the 135, why I wanted to build it. This is the first video of the series that I'm doing, just getting kind of detailing the teardown. In the next video, I'll be showing, I guess, when all the parts come off, when I did the full teardown on the front end to change everything over. So yeah, the next video will be detailing the conversion, the process, what I did for the bodywork. And then from there, I'm gonna be going into talk about like the brakes, handling, suspension, things I've done there, mods on the engine, just kind of section by section on the car, why I've selected those parts and the reason behind it. I just want to give you guys a bit more of an informative video or series that you can watch and follow to kind of get some ideas off myself. And because I'm always getting ideas off what other people are doing, what mods they've chosen. I'm always online, like researching, watching videos, other YouTubers. There's a few builds online that I follow, and I figured I'd share my build with you guys. And for those of you that like watching my content, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and like the video if you want to see future content related to this. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.